So here's what's basically going on. At one point in time, whether you believe in past lives or this is our only life, whether you were in the womb or past life or when your spirit first came to the planet, you were one whole core being. The circle. It was one. What happens is you get scared or hurt or something happens and you break off a little part of you. All right? So what happened, at least in American Western societies, like you guys have kindergarten, right? Is that what you guys call it?
Yeah.
Right. So most kids, when they go into kindergarten, this is what happens. And this isn't the only time it happens. It may happen during birth or just after. It could happen in the womb, like if a loud noise goes off, or maybe the husband's yelling at the wife, or the mom's screaming at the husband, or maybe you're listening to she's watching a scary movie and there's all this loud noise going on and you get scared. So at one point, you're whole and complete. This is called at one, or in the Bible, it's to atone. At one. You're one. Like, it'd be like this bottle being completely full, right? At one. It has whole and complete, right? So what happens, I'll use kindergarten as one example, is most kids, when they go to school, their parents go with them and they're outside in front of the class and everyone's like, oh my God, there's Timmy. Yeah, there's Sarah. And everyone's having a good time holding mommy and daddy's hands, right? Now, when I went to kindergarten, it was slightly different because we were late. We were in my dad's Blazer. My mom and dad were in the front. And I was in the back with my brothers and sisters. And it's this big, tough truck. My dad had this song on that was very like a relaxing song. Probably Neil Diamond or something like that, very relaxing. It was a very earthy, you just felt at home, right? And we pull up in park. And before we got out, all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, there's Timmy, there's Jimmy, and there's so-and-so. And I'm looking at it, and they're all like kind of happy and stuff. Now, the windows were up, and we had the stereo on, so I couldn't hear what was going on outside. All of a sudden, all the kids went, what? And you could see the parents trying to pull them, and the teachers were trying to pull the kids inside the classroom, and they're like, no. And I remember looking at one of my friends who thought, he acted all tough and stuff. I'm like, oh, there's Timmy. He's not tough now. He's just like, no. And I'd never seen him freak out. Like, I'm like, what? And I'm like, Mom, what's going on? Like, well, Michael. Now, the difference is I'm in a very calm state of mind because I'm with my mother and father. We're in the Blazer. It's a nice, relaxing song was playing. And I'm looking outside going, I don't understand what happened. Well, apparently the bell had rung. And then the kids finally found out, like, oh, Mommy and Daddy are going to leave you in this classroom with this strange lady and all these other kids that you don't know. And they're going to leave you. For a lot of kids, this is the first time when they are dropped off somewhere with a stranger and other strangers that they don't know, and the parents are going to leave. And you think, oh, no, they've had babysitters. Yeah, but normally when you have babysitters, the parents will stay with you and the babysitter for a couple hours. And sometimes some parents will have the babysitters come over once or twice and just stay there the whole time with the babysitter until the kids get comfortable with the babysitter, and slowly, and then, you know what I mean? So there's an adjustment period, whereas this is like, no, man, we're dropping you off. See you later, Asta. And the kid's like, what? And they freak out. So this is what happens. So the core you says, screw that. I'm not dealing with it. I'm scared. Fuck that. And it takes a little bit of its energy, literally like a drop of water, a drop of your energy, and it pushes it out. It says, you handle it. And this little part, it develops its own rules, values, beliefs, and strategies. So it becomes its own little part. It literally becomes its own person. And so Adam said a very key word, a key phrase, and I was like, oh, that was, and I wrote it down. He said, it takes on a mind. Well, my writing's horrible, but it takes on a mind of its own, right? So you go into certain situation, and now here's the thing about we have all kinds of parts. This is just one example, but we have, like, I should put a bunch of little circles, for parts all over the place, right? We have a lot of parts that we shoved out a long time ago, right? So you got all kinds of parts to heal and to integrate, all right? So you got a bunch of parts. So what happens is this part's job was, oh, we're in a new situation. You deal with it. I'm not dealing with it. I'm going to hide and I'm going back to sleep. And I'm going to act like reality does not exist. But this little part, you have to deal with this reality. Now, Adam, how old were you when you went to kindergarten? About?
Oh, like 3. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be preschool.
Oh, nursery. Yeah.
Yeah, we would call that preschool here, 3-4 years old.
Okay, so I went to nursery at 2, kindergarten 3.
Really?
No, 3. Yeah.
Yeah,
3
we
to
do
5.
kindergarten here at about 4.5.
Yeah, no, I went young because, and then I went to primary school at 6.
Yeah, that would be first grade for us, I think, 5 or 6. So here's the deal: these parts are really young, right? Adam, can we ask your age? Are you okay with that? Or
yeah, 43.
So you're 43 now.
Mm-hmm.
So of this kindergarten part, we'll call it. Now, its job is whenever we go into a new situation, you got to deal with it, right? That little part. So here's the deal. It's almost like it's built in. So so what happens when you first start kindergarten, you shove this part out, it's going, oh my God, holy shit, oh my God, it's scared, it's freaking out. And it might even, as a 3, 4, 5-year-old child, you're probably just crying. Ah! And the teacher's like, it's okay, calm down. It's nap time. So for the first 2 or 3 days, maybe even the first week or two, you're kind of freaked out. And you're just, are we going to get in trouble? What are they going to do? If there's rules, oh my God, what if I forget a rule? They're just freaking out. But then after about 2 weeks or so, the core you, everything's calmed down. So the core you is kind of like, oh, okay, it's time for me to come out. And now the part gets to go back behind or asleep, we'll call it. So then you have first grade. So on the first day of class, Adam, what do you think happens? First grade.
First grade? With the parts thing, or?
Yep.
It comes back, it re-triggers.
Yeah, because that's right. It literally gets triggered. So it's like, that's your job. We're in a brand new class with a brand new teacher and other students that I don't know. Oh my God, it freaks out. Like, so the core you's like, yeah, I'm not dealing with that. So I've made a part for that. This little guy's got to deal with it all by itself, right? And so that part comes out. It's like, oh my God, it's probably crying again. I'm freaking out. Oh my God, Mommy, I don't want to go, right? And then second, third, fourth, fifth. Now, by the time you get into high school, let's say 9th grade, well, your buddies are going to laugh at you and make fun of you if you cry when you go to freaking class the first day of school, right? So you kind of act tough and you kind of hide it, but inside you, oh my God, fucking hell, Jesus Christ, that part still comes out. And then you go to 10th grade, 11th, 12th, and whatever. And then you go to college, or maybe you get a job. It's your first job, or maybe you go to Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts, or you join the baseball team. These are all new situations. So that part's job is you deal with it. Now, here's the thing. It uses the exact same strategy that it developed that first day of kindergarten when the core you said, get out there, I'm not dealing with it. And you're like, oh my God. So its strategy literally is to panic and freak out. So here you are, 25 years old, 35 years old, 43 years old. You get into a new situation, and guess who has to deal with it? That 4-year-old little part. I'm going to ask you a question, Adam. Who has more experience? Who's watched more movies? Because you've seen Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise deal with new situations. Like, man, that's a pretty good way to deal with that situation, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Or maybe you talk to your uncle, who's a very successful man, and he said, well, the way I do it, Adam, is I do it like this, right? And
Yep.
you've been to Tony Robbins seminars?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have.
I'm sure he's explained, well, this is the way when you first meet someone, or do this is how I do it. So you got all these examples. You've read books, you've seen movies, all these examples, right?
Yeah.
The problem is that little part, it doesn't take on any of that. The core you does. So who do you think is better to deal with a brand new situation? A 43-year-old grown man who has watched other people, experienced other things, read things, watched movies, or that little part that has that one strategy from 4 years old?
To dealing with the part?
To dealing with a new situation.
Oh, the whole the whole part of yourself,
the adult,
the whole being, the adult, would be much better at dealing with it. And I think something I wanted to add in there was that you can't really see that part. It escapes. So you'll be in the middle of a situation or an emotion or a conversation with someone, and you don't know that you're doing that. So I think I use the word escapist, and I had this conversation with a friend of mine who's a therapist, and she says she's the same. So I think it belongs to that part of ourselves when we're escaping or trying to avoid, or they even have that psychological term avoidant. So I think it's in that category of you literally don't, it's a blind spot. You can't see it. Yeah,
until you feel it,
and you don't want to face it, and you don't want to face it either. That's the other thing. So you can't see it, and you don't want to face it.
Yeah, because what did you say to me? You said, Mike, do you have any idea how hard it is to face my faults?
Yeah, it was brutal. It felt horrible.
So Adam's talking about the part when I was really, I don't like to say this phrase, but I can't think of it. So Adam, one of the things about Adam, it's people do it, is they try to escape, right?
Yeah, I do that.
When you come to me,
sorry, I did that.
Yeah. When you come to me,
the
buck stops here.
He doesn't.
I am the brick wall of all brick walls. Adam, stop. What did you just say? No, I don't want to go back there. No. We had
you're like, oops, did I just say, when the words come mid-sentence and you're like, uh-oh, it's coming. It's kind of like when I used to compete in karate and my sensei, I knew he did a kick and I dodged the kick, but I hadn't realized that there was this punch coming. And I was like, oh God, it's just coming. There's nothing you can do about it. It's like the sentence comes out and you're like, oh, what did I just say?
Right. So he's talking about my coaching style is because I know if I didn't hold Adam accountable in that moment, because he just did it. It was right. He did both parts. Like, holy shit. If he could become conscious of that, it heals. Yeah. Now, it's like your therapist said, I still have that going on. Well, it sounds like your therapist didn't heal it. So I'm not just doing talk therapy. In fact, I do very little talk therapy. Go ahead.
I wanted to interrupt because you asked me a question as well in the middle of it. And my mind just went blank. I was like, what did you just say? I couldn't even answer the question. And so it was like a mind blank, like a blank canvas. It was insane.
Yeah. So he's talking about some NLP techniques that I'm not gonna teach it right now. It'll take forever, but there's some patterns that I will take your brain through that make you go pong. Like,
it was just like, what just happened? It's like,
kind of like I'm trying to think of a movie, like what's a movie like Darth Vader or something where like someone goes, "You shall let us pass," right? There's something like that, and you just like, what? Where am I?
It kind of felt like